Hi, and welcome everybody to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025. You can see my little co-host back here. He is, we didn't think we were going to have them but 2 days this week, and ends up we're going to have them all week.
Hi,
So, you
Lincoln. Hi, sweetie. Hi.
want to say hi?
Hi, sweetie. Come say hi. Look at you. You're getting so big.
There we are.
Hi,
Can you say
Lincoln.
hi?
Hi. Oh, hi, sweetie. Everybody's saying hi to you.
He's
You
not
get
using
to,
his words yet. I said when he
yeah.
starts talking, it's probably going to be in full sentences.
Yeah, and you're seeing everybody's looking at you. You get to be the center of attention. Aren't you a handsome boy? Yes, you are.
That was a deep breath. Colleen, it's good to see you. I was going to mention the text that I got from you, and it's been a long time, and I'm so glad that we got back in touch. So you
Yeah,
might want to can introduce yourself and share with the group what's happening for you.
hi, I'm Colleen. I haven't really gone anywhere in a sense. I listen to you guys every morning. It's usually the replays because I work and it's difficult today I happen to be off though, and I got your message right before. I'm like, it's about to be 1 o'clock. I should just try this. I haven't tried the Zoom yet, but I use it otherwise, so. But yeah, I don't know. It was great to hear your voice and the voicemail. I get so much from listening every day. Things have been going better for me. I mean, it's a toggle, like I said to you, between, vitality and then a healing crisis and vitality and a healing crisis. And the difference is now it's like I just used to be so mad when it would happen. I had a lot of body pain and I had a lot of a lot of emotional pain and a lot of just the guilt and the shame and all the things when they just come up. I'd be so angry at myself for having them or not making enough progress or, first I was angry because I blamed everything on everybody else. And then I met you guys and a couple other resources as well that, aligned. And, with that, I started to work on the blame and everything. And once I started, what is my goal? There's some reason, why am I upset? Taking myself out of these situations quickly, which people don't always love, but yeah, I don't care. But you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you run away. And I'm like, because I'm not, I feel like I used to be addicted to drugs. And now when that rage thing starts and my family, certain people are starting to, it's almost like baiting a fight and this, and
Yeah.
it's like somebody's offering me drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like that same kind of, I don't want to do this thing because I don't want to go down this road, but oh my God, it's so tempting. I really just, I feel like I could tell this person off. I feel like I could be right. I feel like and those things do the dopamine, I think, in the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, but I've been pulling myself out and I've just been going back home and just kind of sitting with self and what's my part in this
You look
worksheet.
great.
Thank you. Thank
Glad
you.
you're here to do it with us again,
I,
connecting in.
I'm glad you guys do everything you do. Just want you to know because you don't hear from me doesn't mean I'm not hearing from you and everything. I've been taking advantage of I haven't even made a dent in what you offer on the website as far as, but I've utilized a lot of the different worksheets and different things and self-study, and I just am so grateful for it. So anyway, I just want to come here and listen.
Well, I don't know if you've found them there. I mean, we still list them on our website with the links, but we are now that we're doing the radio show on Zoom, and then we're uploading the archives to our YouTube channel.
Oh, well, yep. Okay. I've been catching YouTubes. I get notifications for YouTubes and then
Oh,
I'll go on
good.
Spotify. If not, that's how I originally was listening.
Awesome.
And well, before the phone, yeah, before Blog Talk went away.
Right. Well, we're glad you're back.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Sweet. And welcome everybody. Delighted that you're all here and that we get a chance to take this conversation to the next level one more time. And so if you're out there in listener land with a thought for us,
Lucy
hit
has
the
her
mute button.
hand up.
Let's go for it. Lucy, you made it. Welcome, young lady.
Yeah, hello, Michael, Jeanie,
Hey.
everyone. Hello. Well, I do have a question, and I even have to write things down to with attempt to organize my thoughts because the question is around goals, and it seems like what else I don't understand there, right? Like, I mean, all you're doing, at least not all you're doing, but a lot what you're talking about is about goals and
Definitely the core of it.
yes, yes, and I take that very seriously, and seem like know how to apply it. But last week you said something which I realized I have a question and I didn't have exactly a question. So I left you a message sort of with questions. So this is about goals versus desire. Like I look at the chat GPT to see the difference, and with all similarity, there is a difference, I understand. And you know, when it comes to some intellectual, like linguistic understanding, it's pretty clear. You know, there is clear definitions and all that. But when it comes to this work, it's different. I understand that for me to know the difference, it has to be that knowingness. I'm talking about not from this kernel. This is from somewhere else, from some, I guess, either Ruka or some supreme power. If there is some different, like deeper knowingness inside of me and feelings, and that where I realize I might not be there. So if I question, still when I look at my writings, I know you will understand it's not very clear formed. So if I holding, okay, if what I cancel my goals when I cancel my goals, some of them keep reinstating. And in the most definitely charged subject, the most what close to the body, to my soul, those goals keep reinstating itself. What does it mean? Well, I will start to contemplate. For one thing, maybe it wasn't enough space of love I held, right? Like inside, if not love fully present, I may not cancel that. That would be my one thought. Then I'm thinking like, what is that again? What difference? Okay, if I go to goals like I want my child to be safe, to be well, to be healthy, to be happy, is it my desire? I think this is like my goal. And I want to hear what you say all about that. And those type of goals, they keep reinstating. And I cannot even imagine what would be for me bigger goal, actual goal, if it's just desire, if this is not a goal. And then you said the other time, I think last month, I asked you about the same question, and your answer was, well, you might use different tools. It's not the only tool, and that would be helpful, which to me sounds very, very logical, reasonable. Yes, of course. But with this kind of process of thinking, it came, well, if I hit my real goal, that should be enough for me to hold that space, to be that space of love, to keep love, to hold love present, all this. So anyway, to be in that state, it should be enough for me when I cancel that. And I found myself being in that state. I definitely know when I'm there, when I'm not, and canceling, and they keep reinstating. So that kind of my questions. Well, this is my comments, and please answer what you can on that. I really would like to understand the difference, to know the difference, to learn how to feel the difference between desire and a goal in this work.
Okay. I think I've got a question formulated out of it. I'm not exactly sure, but first of all, let's just look at the functioning purpose of a goal. The purpose of a goal is to create stress in the mind and bring the mind into activity and to go through whatever it has in the way of data and behaviors to serve up a behavior prompt which will cause us to do a behavior that alleviates the stress of the goal and therefore puts an end to the goal. The difference between a desire and a goal for me would be I can desire, I go into the restaurant and I desire the vegetable soup. I desire the grilled vegetable sandwich. I desire the, I can look at 80 things on the menu and have a desire for every one of them. And when I go to place my order, I make a selection. I'm not going to eat all 80 things on the menu, though I may have a desire for, gee, this looks so good. When I select one of those things and I say, okay, it's going to be the grilled vegetable sandwich, then I've taken out of all of my desires and I've elevated that to a goal. I've chosen to make a commitment to that. That's what makes the difference between a desire and a goal. So I can have a desire for my child to be healthy and well, but I'm not always calling him to go, what are you doing? Is it okay? I'm not doing behaviors around that. I have a general desire for well-being for my children. I think that's a pretty natural desire for everybody to have. However, if I happen to look out the window and seeing my child getting ready to do something dangerous, I'm going to elevate that to a goal, and I'm going to go racing out the door to assist them with what's going on. And then there are only two ways to get rid of a goal. One is to either achieve it, or the second one is to cancel it. And if I've got a particular goal that maybe, I've never really understood goals, I've never worked with goals in particular, I've never canceled goals, which is something most people have pretty much never thought of. They set a goal, they get busy, they don't get it done, and they forget about it. And they don't realize there's that underlying goal happening. An example that I'll use of that, I can remember years ago working with a woman in Atlanta, and something this woman did not like about herself is that all her life she'd been very promiscuous. She'd meet a man and she'd be in bed with him, which she did not want to do, which she did not like, but, it would just happen. And she didn't seem to have any control over it until she started doing this work and became aware of goals. And she touched into a memory of being a small child. And she had an uncle that she just dearly cherished. She just enjoyed playing with him, hanging out with him. There was never anything inappropriate in her memory with him. However, when she was doing a particular piece of work, she got in touch with a point where she was quite young, and he just kind of pushed her away, strong-armed her away. And when she discovered that, and it was I don't remember now, this is years ago, she might have been, 4 or 5, that she touched in this memory, that her desire to be physically close to him was there. And when she touched into that and was able to cancel that, that was the end of her promiscuity. That underlying goal from being a very young child. And I can easily imagine that I might have a goal from a situation when I was 5 and when I was 8 and when I was 10 and when I was 12 and 14 and 16 and 18 and 20 and 28 and 32 and 44. And yesterday when I was 45, I can imagine that I might have had goals from all of those times that were similar. And each time a situation might rear its head that resonates that goal, I'm going to need to cancel it. So it may be the same goal, but stored in brain cells from many different times and come into activity. So anytime that I become aware that a particular goal comes into activity, I want to cancel that goal if it's not a behavior that I want to take action toward. And of course, recognizing that the goal is like a recruiter. If you think about, I don't remember whether we talked about this with that last time we talked about it, but I think of a goal like the football recruiter who's in the city and goes around to all the high schools. He's the city manager of the professional team, and he goes around to all the high schools to recruit kids to play football. He goes to see who the best are, and then he does some work to get them to come and play for his team. So he calls all of these different kids in and invites them to become part of his team. Every time that I set a goal, and I can frame a goal without setting a goal. They're two different actions. But once I make a commitment to that goal, I sit in the restaurant and I go, grilled vegetable sandwich or veggie burger, I frame it. I think about how it's going to taste. What am I really wanting? But in the end result, I only set the goal for one of those things, even though I've considered them both. So when I set a goal, I've set the recruiter on guard. And through resonance, everything in my structure, including my genes, is going to come into activity that's in tune with that particular energy pattern, that particular resonance. And it's going to pull all of that data into activity in response to that goal. Some of that data is going to become conscious, let's say the behavior prompt, and some of it is going to be unconscious. If I find myself in a state of pain or trauma after having set a particular goal, then I know that I've recruited into activity some thought disorders based in pain or trauma. And that's where I want to bring in the Aramaic idea of canceling the goal so that the resultant perception of all of that data recruited into activity, my perception, collapses. And when it collapses in on itself, it gives me access to the underlying hidden data that I wasn't even aware was attached to that goal. So I can bring myself into relationship with my own unconscious dynamics by canceling a goal and having access to that which has been hidden in me. Does that fit with your question? Did I catch it? Does that answer it?
There was something at the beginning you were saying I will need to release, and I can't remember. It was starting. No,
Take a breath. Notice you're holding
Yeah.
your breath. So
Yes,
this
yes.
might be a place to just activate your breath, and that'll tend to make information more accessible.
Yeah. Well, one of there are a couple of parts which still kind of they moving on its own. It's not in one, and one of them is still so the fact. Let's say the situation and so every time when I want my child, like it's not like all of a sudden, oh, I want my child to be healthy or safe or something like that. And then, oh, let me cancel that. No, if I'm doing worksheet, it means it's resonated and it feels like it's a goal. What theoretically could be actual goal if this is like desire? And if it's a goal and I do everything and I think I cancel, and before I know it's back, this goal, and the same subject, the same situation. So
So, so my offering there would be that I have this underlying desire for my child to be well, and maybe an issue that I need to deal with is that I think I know better what will keep my child well than they do. And so I might have a goal for many different goals for them and what they should be doing. And if I look at my child and I go into frustration and upset, it might be because my underlying goal is, or my underlying thought is, I know better than they do, so they better do what I tell them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that might relate to my desire for them to be well, but they should be obeying me or doing what I tell them to do. And if I go into some sort of upset around the fact that, gee, they haven't done what I wanted them to do, then I might be moving over to that goal for them to be obedient or to respect my opinion. There could be many variations on the theme there, and that all relates to their well-being. But it might be my issue that I need to be cleaning up, because by holding unconscious fear and thinking I know better than they do, then I find myself in upset around them not doing the behaviors that I want them to do. Does that make sense? So that'd be a
Yes.
place for me to cancel that goal.
Yeah. So in other words, it's just how I would say that goal versus desire in a worksheet. Somehow, what I've heard, I thought, whatever I thought. So I won't even know that it's a goal or desire. So if I have it as a goal, if I put it as a goal, to me it's important enough, so it is goal. And if it's keep reinstating, I cannot find the difference. Okay, there is no I cannot understand the difference between that.
Well, the difference for me would be as my mind prompting me to take action toward them regarding their well-being. If I have a general desire for my child to have well-being, I have good wishes toward my child and such, then, but I'm not calling them every 10 minutes to say, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? But
Right.
if I'm in a worry mode around my child's health and I'm calling them every 10 minutes, then that might be the place for me to cancel my goal to maybe be in control of their well-being, or perhaps the idea of them being well is attached to a fear in me. And so if I find myself, I'm in fear, if they pick up the phone and say, oh, I've got a runny nose and I'm in fear, then I want to cancel the goal for them to be well. Because if I'm contributing fear energetically, even if they're on the other side of the city, if I'm contributing fear to their well-being energetically, then I'm a threat to their that energy in me is a threat to their well-being as well as my own. So if I notice that I'm talking to them out of fear, then I would want to cancel the goal for them to be well. Not because I have any ill feelings toward them, but I recognize that my concern about their well-being is based in my fear. And so I'm going to cancel that goal and drop into that hidden part of my mind, heal that fear in me, and then I might reestablish the goal for them, their well-being. People oftentimes will say, well, gee, this is a perfectly good goal. Why would I cancel it? Well, I noticed that when you turned attention toward that issue, you stopped breathing and you looked like you had terror on your face. And yes, I understand it's around something that's a wonderful desire in you, but if you're contributing terror to some wonderful desire you have, better cancel the goal to go in and clean the terror up, because it's a disease energy that doesn't belong in your body nor in your relationship with your child.
I think I understand where was my confusion. And
Cool.
it's just, it's, okay, when you say word underline, my mind drawing vertical. And actually, and this is what I couldn't find when I look vertical, like down, underline. But actually what you're explaining in my mind is horizontal. And
Got it.
now, thank you. Now I understand. So I keep looking vertical down sort of the same and deeper, but actually it could be some other aspects. In this context, I do understand
Yeah, it could tie
what
into
you
many
meant.
different things.
Right, right.
Yes.
Then it's all clear. I understand. It just was initially, I was, process
Got
habitually
it.
vertical. Thank you so much. I needed
Delighted.
that clarification.
Awesome.
Gratitude.
Honored. Delighted to be here and to be of support.
Thank you.
All right. Have a blessed one. Lots of love.
Thank you.
And Terry Bowling, welcome, young man. I'm delighted to see you're on. I didn't expect to see you today. I know you're up there in the great Northeast, if I remember correctly, at your daughter's wedding. So I hope it's things are going well. I did call you to check on how your journey went. How goes it?
Oh, thank you so much. It's excellent. And we're up in the mountains of Vermont, and it's just beautiful. We've been going around and doing little errands, and Michaela Sky has got a list of 60 people that she's going to be cooking for. So she made these
She's the
two
bride
huge-
and she's cooking.
Yeah, they're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Her and Cedar, that's her fiance. They love to do that kind of stuff, and so we went to visit some delightful friends of theirs yesterday, and they contributed 5 gallons of homemade kombucha for the celebration, and we had
Wow.
a delightful little lunch with their farm is called Meta Earth there, and we had some pesto, homemade pesto, and they had some shiitake mushrooms. This is all stuff they produce on the farm there, just absolutely gorgeous up here. So as long as I'm within a sector, either I can get on the internet, and I'm on internet bandwidth right now, Wi-Fi, and
Cool.
it works really good. I've been missing you guys, so I'm glad to be back on, and I really appreciate Lucy's conversations always. She's got so much intelligence and depth that she brings to a discussion, and I like to really listen to her and see what I can learn from that. And it helped me because I pulled a worksheet out while she was talking, and it helps me to formulate the language. Like you're always teaching us the importance of our language and structuring it and paying attention. So I was looking how, up in number 1, we have the truth is only my thoughts. The word is thoughts. And then I thought, oh, that's like the menu, the thoughts. There's a selection of the possibilities. And then there's the to-do list that we're so familiar with. I put that on the same linear category or linear level as the thoughts or to do, or as I believe that in the what's the module that includes the mind goal management? What's it called again? It's slipping my brain.
That's the getting the stress you need workshop.
Yes,
that component in the laws of living as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in the laws of living, we use the word plans. So we've got thoughts, plans, and to-do list, and I'm organizing that in my mind. And then they all get filtered down to the next level, and you use the word my desire. And I was really looking at it at number 3 on this particular worksheet. And my desire is the constructive result. And then use the word the exact, and that's in bold. So paying attention to why you've extended that and the goal that uncovers, my pain and all. And it's also connected to my trigger that you've added in there to link those, using the mind link methods to connect these thoughts together. And with the desire, then I begin to filter the things through, just like with the thoughts, plans, or to do. I filter and I pick the one that has the strongest resonance or the greatest need at the moment, and that becomes my exact goal. So that's what I got out of Lucy's conversation there. Yeah, that's
cool.
Good.
It's you bring forward a really important accent with what you're saying, Terry, and that is the importance of getting to exactly what it is that I've loaded in my mind, or that was already in my mind, maybe from generations ago, that's active, because it's only when I find the real goal that's moving in me. I can have many surface things around an issue. I can have the goal, or it appears to be the goal, for someone to fulfill this for me, and cancel that, but not get to the issue, because the issue was one that was coming up for me, was one where I was being disrespected or not honored. And so the real goal in that case is I need to cancel, I need to be honored, not for them to do the behavior I wanted them to do. So getting to that, thanks for focusing on that exact idea, because that is key. And also, as you were talking and saying where you were, it sounds like the kids are in a really conscious community, which is pretty cool. When I hear you mention kombucha and all of that, there sounds like they've got a really sweet network. And it kind of boggles my mind when I think back to, I think Michaela was probably 4 or 5 in her first workshop. And here she is getting married. It's like,
Yeah. I was going to
whoa.
comment on that. She has grown into someone that's just naturally in the environment and looks to network and connect with individuals that are conscious, and really she's so, I mean, the recycling, I have to be conscious because it's very specific. I got everything down here, and I'm not quite
You have to obey
good.
the rules, right?
Yeah. And then and they're real health, very extremely health conscious, just beautiful people. And it reminds, and the setting here at this house and all that we're at it reminds me of Cedro Woolley. And we went out and
Oh,
tended.
yeah.
We went out
Oh,
and tended.
wow.
We went out and tended the sheep yesterday. They tend sheep, and they had a llama. That's the sheep guard dog. Is a llama named
Oh, really?
named Eddie, and I got to play.
Interesting.
I got to play with Eddie and the sheep, and Eddie spoke to me, and that was the first time they said they heard him talk. And the beep beep, So it was just so much fun. And I reminded her about the time that we were in Cedro Woolley, and you guys will remember when we were on that first segment of fasting, and all the adults a couple of them are breaking into the storage and stealing food and stuff. It's like, it's crazy. And then the kids come back, and this guy come back, and they got berry juice all over their face, where
At their face.
they found a berry patch. And the next thing you know, half of the class is running out. Well, ask them, where's the berries at? It's like that. They almost scared them. They wanted the berries so bad, And they were all down in the berry patch harvesting berries and stuff. It was like, what a beautiful memory. But it's a very,
Yeah, I hadn't
very,
thought of
very,
Cedar Woolley in a long time. That was a really good intensive. That was a pretty sweet place to work, wasn't it?
yeah, and the energy here reminds me so much of that. It's just so beautiful because it's up at the same latitude and the same time of year, and then the sheep and the beautiful organics and all that. It's just it's really
Very
nice,
cool.
really, really nice. Yeah, and now I'm in class too at the same time, so it's complete. The circle
There
is
you go.
complete. Mhm.
Well, tell her we send our hugs and love and the best wishes for her eternal life with her partner.
You got it.
Cool. All right. Any other thoughts for you?
I'm good right now. I'm gonna see what else anybody else has to offer.
All right.
I
Enjoy.
bet Joe's got something. All right. We'll talk again.
Well, Joe's the funny one, so he's probably got a joke for us, I would imagine. Yeah, he's kind of, he's kind of losing that title, though. It seems. I feel bad. I feel bad for him, but it's just kind of, he slipped a little bit on the joke end of it.
Oh, Joe, that's a
There's
challenge.
some,
Sounds like a
there's some,
challenge.
yeah, there's some people with the funny stuff that have been kind of overtaking his claim to fame as the funny one. Oh, Joe, I see your microphone's open. Did you have a thought for us, Joe?
It's only a claim, okay? I have many claims, many talents. Yes.
You sound like you just canceled that goal.
Oh,
How are you,
anyhow.
sir? What's exciting in your world?
Uh, just having the house cleaned, which is really exciting. I mean, who doesn't like things to be nice and shiny and new? So that's going on as we speak, which is fun. And
Is the
then
house listed yet?
tomorrow should be or Thursday. We'll get the pictures taken tomorrow and get it listed. Some lucky contestant will step up, and they will end up with the 9 chickens, which are, they convey. I've talked to each one of them. We've had private sessions, and they all seem to be okay with the fact that I'll be leaving them behind, but such is life. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I hope your new homeowner wants chickens, so that
Oh,
and I
they
hope
will.
that sale
Who doesn't?
happens quickly and easily.
Yes. No, thank you very much. And that's all I had, though. I got to go.
Okay. Have a blessed one.
Bye.
All right.
Love
Bye.
to everyone.
We accept. So how's everybody else doing out there in listener land? Anyone have a thought, an issue, a question?
I'll chat. Oh my gosh, you guys,
Hey, young lady, welcome.
keeps coming up on I keep doing the work on Dr. Tim's show. Yeah, it's really, oh my. I know Jeannie will understand. It's going deep, 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 and also finding the pattern. So I've been learning since 1994, like really actively, and I see knowledge has been protection, or my perception that is protection. So I look back now, even this morning, going from, getting my forestry degree or tech as a technologist and getting my forestry degree, working full time, then on the master's, et cetera, et cetera. And I still, even after I did all that, I would still work full time and learning. I bet you I haven't, it clocks enough hours for probably 3 PhDs of learning. So I'm looking forward to finding the root of that and my busyness in this world, just showing him the avoidance pattern to stay busy, not to go to the deeper issues.
You're
Yeah,
holding space for the deepest issues to surface and easily be breathed through and surface. One of the things that I've noticed, I think back to the early days of doing this work and would go into a healing crisis, and it might be 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And there's a skill set that's developed as you do that. I suspect you probably noticed that. And more and bigger issues come up now, and they're done in 20 minutes. It's like
yeah.
just the ability to move the energy, bring it to awareness, and soften and let go of it seems to be it seems to accelerate the process. So
I feel in the right now, because I'm going to say it this way, because this is new language. I dissociated from the felt sense of experience on my physiology. So now I was doing the breathing this morning, and I can feel like pain in the body, or I don't want to even say pain. It's just like, especially in my back, and stuff is releasing, and it feels like energy's moving through, and sometimes there's a lot of intensity with it. So yeah, just being in the trusting of that without trying to do any meaning making, which that's my pattern of wanting to understand and just notice what's there in terms of physiology, whether it's attention, especially on my right side. And also, yeah, I can feel like it feels quite intense, and just, yeah, capturing it at, just like I said in the class, capturing it before I go into trying to make any meaning. Just notice and let it go with Ruka, to let it go through my system. That's what it feels. And it's uncomfortable. And some, like right now, even now, right in my solar plexus, it feels like a great big knot. And then there's also this one I am going to give language or meaning around. It feels like grief right here, my sacred heart, like a great big, yeah, circle with a big long cord, if you will, or a funnel on the back of my heart. And I think that's very old.
Mm.
Yeah.
So holding the space that your breath can reach in deep enough to just let that one open.
Yeah.
You know, right side tends to relate to male, so that old male issue. Probably moving on another level. So the men in your life get safer
Yeah.
at the next
And
level as you process through that. And
yeah, and Dr. Tim helped me see. I blew over an experience in the group before in the last call. I just went right past it, and then he stopped me and said, "Wait a minute, that's a big deal. Let's just breathe into that, what you just said." And so I think that's a deep clue to sit with that experience and yeah, to go. I can feel it even as I'm saying that, to go in and find. And in the origin of the situation, I blew right past it. I just went on with life. I never processed it. That happened in 2010.
mm,
Completely blew past it. Didn't even give it a moment.
you know,
Yeah. So
well, there's, you know, and that's kind of ties into some of the conversation we had of the difference between anesthetizing or drugging ourselves and just avoiding,
yeah,
and the willingness to really pay attention to even the subtle cues, just
yeah,
as simple as the stopping of the breath and, oh, here's a piece of work I'm ready to do.
yeah. And I wouldn't have caught that had Tim not pointed it out. I wouldn't miss it
Right.
because I would just blew right past. And he's like, wait a minute. That's a big deal what you just said. And I'm just like, it's just like talking about the weather. So yeah, I'm gonna go work with that one. So yeah, just wanting everyone to know, the healing crisis. And also I keep telling myself the way it went in is the way it's going out. So, yesterday I felt deep fear, like just panic fear, and then also the tension in my body, and just saying, okay, I'm safe. It's okay to allow it to discharge. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Holding the space.
yeah, thank
Awesome.
you.
All right. Well, anybody else out there have a thought?
Hi, everybody.
Hey there. Welcome, young lady.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like some pretty intense things came up for me last night, or not last night, last week. And what I noticed is I'm able to ride the wave a little bit better. There isn't like this bracing, because when the waves come, in the moment, it feels like this is never going to end. And, I love the awareness around the breath because I would just hold my breath and brace and, I don't know, kind of isolate and just hold on for the ride. And so with some of these new tools, I'm seeing that what's really helped is the information that I've received from you and this group. I know that I go into my head. I know that I do, and I want to figure it out. And somehow my intellect is going to be like my knight in shining armor. um, but there has been like a reassurance and a bit of framework around, it's okay, the waves are going to come, and they may even get more intense every time, but they are going to end. I can breathe through it. I can do worksheets that really helps the intensity. And to have a community that also is riding the waves when I felt like I was going through it by myself for so long feels reassuring even in itself. And then what's moved forward is I went into a lot of like grief around things that I've been through in my life. And I felt like a big part of me has softened.
Nice.
Yeah, like even emotions come up of just like, it's like compassion of like, wow, I picked a path coming into this life with the ancestral lines that I came in with this deep knowing that I was here to do this work. Not from self-sacrificing, but from a commitment to love. And, but also like, I've kind of blazed through everything, and I really appreciate Susan being such a reflector for me, because I will like, I had this mirrored experience where it's like, I'll just say like the really harsh things that have happened, or things that can be perceived as harsh. And I can spout it all off like from my head. But what I'm finding is I'm starting to drop into this compassion for myself, of love, of like, yeah, wow, that's a lot. You carry so much. But I'm holding myself differently. And so what I think I wanted to get to was that always the gratitude comes up, but also that what I'm finding in this community is that I've discovered something really big about myself that is feeling like relief. Because what I've learned the last week or so very strongly is I am committed to walking in truth. Not that I don't have denial, because I do. But I'm always willing to work through it. And when I'm with people who can have that accountability level, or willingness, I should say, the willingness for truth and the commitment to self-discovery and truth, I feel like I show up in ways that I'm proud of. But what I've learned over the last week or so is when people aren't committed to that, when they're more committed to their own denial than truth, I spiral. And I feel very insecure in that. And because there's a lot of, I really don't like the word trauma, but I feel like I don't have a replacement, but like painful experiences around is with insecure people, or people who are really committed to denial, because I don't know where I fit. And so I wouldn't have been able to discover that, I don't think, without such an accountable community. And I recognize that there are goals to council around needing accountable people, and this whole construct that I have, but I feel like a big part of myself has been reclaimed and regulated just in the self-discovery of my own denial. And so I feel this big wave of trust that I don't need to seek, and I don't need to effort as much as I have been, staying so committed to the healing journey that I even go into deep collapse because I will not take breaks. I drive myself very hard. My masculine side gets really tight, because I'm just driving myself. And I've been starting to relax a bit, and the tightness that's lived from my foot up to my hip is actually releasing. And then as soon as I start driving myself, it tightens up again. So landing in such a space of truth, I feel like I just had a wisdom flood there. I landed in a space of truth because my denial around needing people to be accountable was blocking the truth from me. And so again, just another liberated piece has come up. And yesterday I had tons of stuff come up, did like 20 worksheets, and holy, like I cannot believe the shifts that happen so fast from that piece of paper. I really want to continue teasing you about this piece of paper thing.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Like, wait a minute, how could that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the fawning that's come up in the community has been really beautiful, because I realized even coming into this community, I deeply went into fawning, and then it just showed up in my reality to be like, hey, I was disempowering myself, like in ways in my thought forms that somehow you had all the answers. And I've come back full circle to, you are me, there's no separation. I have these answers too, and we get to share these together.
That's
So
the power of community.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
Like,
what? Just the simple fact that we vitalize each other, we
mhm.
empower ourselves and each other to go to depth that otherwise on our own we couldn't have done. And the same power is in every one of us. There's a cool song out there. It's in every one of us to be wise. And just being in the space where that's just the natural thing to do, to me, is half of the gift of this community, folks that are in it.
Mm. Yeah, so I just appreciate everybody who shows up and shares. I learned so much, and I really realized after all these years of doing this on my own that there were parts of my psyche, of my unconscious, that I couldn't access because I can't see outside of my own perception in areas. And then when it was showing up in my outer reality, I had this block to understanding that it was the unconscious manifesting or presenting in front of me. And so, because I didn't trust, because I found myself in a continuous position where people weren't my idea or perception of accountability, people who just wanted to live unconsciously, which obviously was me with me. And so I just appreciate it. So thank you.
Well, delighted. Yeah. Thank you for saying thank you. One of the things that you triggered for me as you were speaking was a time for me when I was writing my book, and I did a particular section on it that was titled Life Without Tools and Life with Tools, and the difference in it. And so I just grabbed a copy of my book, and I'd like to just share that at this point, seeing as how you triggered it. I'm remembering when for me, the inside of the power, just having tools, and so many people, who function without them. And that's been part of the commitment of taking this and making it available literally to every mind, heart, and being on the planet. So the section on life without tools is sleep and hell. Information without tools is impotence. Power without tools is dictatorship. Relationship without tools is codependence. Knowledge without tools is dangerous. Commitment without tools is hopeless. Abundance without tools is loss. Health without tools is impossible. Learning without tools is chaos. Ambition without tools is corruption. A world without tools is war. Having tools and not using them is life without tools. And then the second section, life with tools, is awakening and delight. Information with tools is power. Power with tools is service. Relationship with tools is interdependence. Knowledge with tools is safety. Commitment with tools is a blessing. Abundance with tools is easy. Health with tools is natural. Learning with tools is education. Ambition with tools is accomplishment. A world with tools is peaceful. Having tools and using them leads to aliveness. And so our objective is to take every tool that we've learned and developed and making them available, because the whole game just gets so much easier. It's like once it's realized that it's a possibility to take these tools and share them, it's like, what else is there to do? So thanks for receiving them and bring them into your field more fully, because that's just one more contributing energy to strengthening the intuitive availability of the energy pattern of these tools. So every person that keys in and steps up and uses the tools opens the space on another level. In the Course in Miracles, it speaks about when you are healed, you are never healed alone. So delighted you're here. Delighted you received them. And we've got about 2 minutes left. Anyone
Terry
else
has
have a
his
thought?
hand up.
Oh, Terry, go for it.
Yeah, what that triggered for me is around this whole subject of fawning, and brought up some. I've been working with that a lot, as it wasn't something that I specifically looked at directly with that title, and I made a connection with Bradshaw's work that I was doing about 30 years ago, and he talked about the
Right.
beware the white knight syndrome. And if I put that person up on a pedestal as a white knight, or maybe it was someone, a power person especially, that I painted a picture that they just were so wonderful, they never did anything wrong, that's definitely an area that merits closer examination. And that was truly a form of fawning to place someone up on
Yes.
the white horse. So that just came up, and I was like, oh yeah, that connects to that. No, and that's so no wonder it's also familiar sounding and all. And I wanted to throw that out there, just for general purpose. All right.
Good point. Yeah, it's definitely core issue on the planet, and one that each one ultimately needs to step up and take their place in their own minds and recognize that the real teacher, the place of what the ancients called the holies of holies, and they made it about a synagogue structure, but really that each of us has this place within us that is where the deepest answers are always stored for us, and they're always accessible when we're willing to breathe ourselves there. So sweet. Well, it's a quick hour. It's 2:00 already. Delighted you've joined us. Pass it on, please. If this show fit for you and made sense, and there's somebody go, oh, I know somebody that could use that, within the next day or so, Jeannie will have it up on our YouTube channel. Send them a link. And by the way, if you happen to watch something on our YouTube channel, please click a like on it, join the channel, and make a comment. That helps to build the logarithm. And the way that the system works is when they see people are looking at, valuing, and taking time to like and comment, they go, maybe this is important. So it goes up the list. So we'd appreciate your support in that regard, and hold the space for everyone to have the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world. Joining you in